What's up, everybody? We back. Monday. Magic Monday, guys. What's going on? We back. Had a really nice long break. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Hope you guys had a great 4th of July. I had a good one. I had a great 4th of July. My scale is going up. Thanks to New Jersey. Jersey got me, Ben. That was a good weekend, except for Thursday. We didn't have a good day on Thursday. We had a lot of storms up here. They canceled our parade and some other stuff, so that kind of sucks. But otherwise, good. Good 4th of July, good food. Got to get back on the diet, guys. That's the issue. Shoot, stop that. We ain't ready for that. That's for the end. Shout out to Nelly. He's over there in Sweden hanging out with John Thomas and the crew. So the Panda, if you guys are in Europe, go check out the Panda if you can. Let's see. Shout out to Joycelyn. Happy birthday. We got a couple birthdays recently. Shout out to Claire. Happy birthday, Claire. We're just going to get right into the stories, guys. Let's see how far we get, till my voice is all rested, but, sometimes I get tired. So we got Sean Strickland. He doing something. He crazy, man. Let's see. Whose genius idea was it to let Sean Strickland go live on the UFC official channel? So he got that good CTE, guys. He should not be on he should not be on live.
Cameramen were disappointed this wasn't a casting couch. Now, if you're a dude, Jesus Christ. And what if Laura Sanko got fat, dude? How long do you think she'd have her job for? Do you always think Laura Sanko aimed to get a job? If you're ugly, you wouldn't have had the job. I'm an honest you ask me how big my is, I'm going to fucking tell you. It's real bad.
I'm not going to ask you that.
Laura Sanko got a job because she's hot. This is what sucks about, the UFC now. And they're all just from Durkistan to, people from Sandtown dry humping each other.
We're going to move on because I'm going to save you from really...
I don't give a I look so much.
No, you were not going to say that. No. Yeah. I'm going to paint a picture of you, and you're going to paint a picture of me.
That's not bad, right? I'm trying to draw. I'm not good at drawing.
I asked you to draw me.
That's what I see when I look at you. I'm going to pull it out and fucking take a gander.
So that was really bad, actually. These guys, your favorite fighters, are crazy. They're crazy people. You guys love them, but look at when they go to real society. When they're not in that cage, they can't be normal. We make fun of Mikey. I trust Mikey over Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland over there, he can't control himself. His limbic system, his libido out of control. That's one issue with the fighters, man. And, Sean Strickland been fighting for about a decade or more. So that CTE is set in, that brain damage is done. They have no control over their impulses, no filter. And, that kind of resonates with the UFC's, their audience. They're the same people. So I wonder, this is funny now, but then 10 years from now, when he's even worse, what's going to happen then? I'm going to be covering the story possibly. He won't be able to recognize his family members over there hitting on his grandma. Sean Strickland. Strickland says, I think it's time to change. Next podcast, I do strictly talking about MMA jabs. Maybe when is a good time to refinance the mortgages. I don't know, have a family, go to church. It's new to me. Call me John Jones. I'm grabbing a Bible. That's true. Laura Sanko, she fought before. You couldn't talk about fighting. You had to make it sexual. This is the UFC that you guys are always defending. I ain't defending the UFC. He's better than John Jones. That's true. Yeah. Imagine if an NFL or NBA player went off like this on an official stream. That would be bad. Well, they don't let you do that. They got sense enough to not let their athletes get on the live stream like that. We'll play it one more time for people that missed it. It's terrible, though.
And we're disappointed this wasn't a casting couch. Now, if you're a Jesus Christ. Can't believe Laura Sanko got fat, dude. How long do you think she'd have her job for? Do you always think Laura Sanko aimed to get a job? If you're ugly, you wouldn't have had the job. I'm an honest. You ask me how big my is, I'm going to fucking tell you. It's real bad.
I'm not going to ask you that.
Laura Sanko got a job because she's hot. This is what sucks about like the UFC now. And they're all just like from Durkistan to like people from Sandtown dry humping each other.
We're going to move on because I'm going to save you from really.
I don't give a I look so much.
No, you were not going to say that. No. Yeah. I'm going to paint a picture of you, and you're going to paint a picture of me.
Like, that's not bad, right? I'm trying to draw. I'm not good at drawing.
I asked you to draw me.
That's what I see when I look at you. I'm going to pull it out and fucking take a gander. Like, me.
So pretty bad. I mean, he can get away with it. I can't. I can't. I sure as heck can't get away with none of that stuff. I'd be locked up. Who cares? UFC isn't a family-friendly organization. That's why that's not good. That's the beauty of the UFC. All types of personalities. Yeah, all types of CTE. Jason Whitfield, what's going on? Happy Monday, man. Hope you had a good 4th. If you're in America, I don't know where you are. I get Sean doing this on Nina's Dream Dramas channel, but to do this live on UFC, I can't imagine Nina is happy. Laura held it together as best she could. So, you know them girls be getting harassed on that show, in that organization, the whole UFC. Nobody came out and sued anybody. If this was any sport, she would have got a good payout. Just play the video. Yeah, just sue. I would sue. Go get your money, girl. Get out of there. She could retire tomorrow. So we got a lot of stories. I'm not going to focus on that one too much. Gabriel Souza says he wants it. Pause. Let the MMA king Fabricio Andre keep punching people in the face. Is Fabricio Andre MMA king? But if you want a no-gi match, just let me know when. So Gabriel Souza wants a match after Shoya's big win. So if you don't know Shoya, he's pretty good. He's had some good matches with Pato. I believe he's from Japan. He called out Fabricio Andre and Gabriel Souza. Well, he's Gabriel Souza. He wasn't having it. He made it clear he's the right guy for the match. Okay, cool. It's so crazy. We're going to talk about Chaudhary today. It's so crazy. Mikey was with one championship, then he left, and then all those other dudes went over to one championship. So I don't know what to say. I don't know what's going on. We got Cole Abate. I don't know if he's dating this girl, one of the Fanegra girls. I don't know if I'm saying that right or wrong. But they're going to be teaching their class, the 615 class, the gi class at Costa Mesa, AOJ Costa Mesa. Said, come train with us Monday through Friday for some great energy and times on the mat. So I guess they are together. They're, teaching together. We'll see how long that works out. You guys, it's okay to have a little bit of space, guys. You ain't got to train together every day. So cool. Shout out to them. I think they are together. We see them, all the pictures together. So
this was both of our first time here. Brought the youngest world with me in history right here.
Or maybe they're just friends. I have no clue. They could be just friends. We can't speculate here on this show. I'm happy for them. My only issue is that all these AOJ guys and girls, they all date each other. So, that seems to be working out for a few of these people, but eventually something's not going to work out. Something's going to blow up eventually. Mikey's top moments. Can't play the music. We got Mikey doing the Mikey squat. He's stretching. I don't know what he was doing here. training 12 hours a day. Does anybody believe Mikey's training 12 hours a day? I mean, that's physically not possible. He can think about jiu-jitsu 12 hours a day. Mikey doing Muay Thai. Mikey, he not coordinated. Yeah, he's really not coordinated on his feet. He just not built for walking. Mikey's built for grappling on the floor. And then, having that blowout. What they call that? What they call that when you I can't remember what they call that. What the Gen Z call it. Crash out. Yeah, crash out. He crashed out that time. Yo, Mikey, we give Mikey a hard time. He I don't know.
His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti.
That was actually good.
His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti.
Hey, everybody coming after Mikey. Why is everybody attacking the kid with autism? Supposedly. So, people, I don't know. It's just, people are going to attack what's different, I'm not sure if Mikey's playing up to it, but, it's I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm just reacting to it. Talking about reactions, we got Joseph Chin over here.
To maybe a little bit more questionable and some pretty...
He's over here reacting to different juices. I don't know what to say. You guys love Joseph Chin. Can't play the music, guys, but we can watch. Got some, was that watermelon juice? What is that? What is that over there? I see kiwi. Ooh, some kiwi juice. Some tea. He from Taiwan. They know they teas over there. So what's the appropriate drink after training? So you got a lot of different juices and milks. So I don't know. He doing it, bro. When Joseph Chin is not at B team, he be just doing whatever. He doing whatever. So but shout out to him. He at least he do other stuff. He ain't like some of these other guys that do. He ain't like Sean Strickland over here sexually harassing his colleague. We got RBY. He's over here training with Ray Higuchi. Someone said, who's better between Spencer Lee and RBY? I mean, I'm an RBY fan, but Spencer Lee hard to beat. The Spencer Lee that did he get third or second at the Olympics? That's a tough guy to beat. But shout out to RBY. He's over there at Oklahoma State, and he's also representing Mexico. So he's doing it over there. I like RBY. He's got a cool style. He's into like fashion. He's very Gen Z. Fashion oriented, kind of cool. I don't know, bro. You see them tabs up there, guys? We got a lot to cover. If you guys just joining us, happy 4th of July. Hope you guys had a good time. Hope you guys were being safe. Didn't eat too much like me. We got A-Rod. I know some of you guys got crushes on her, but she's over here. She's over here with all the sports science going on. She's getting her blood tested. I don't know what they're testing for, but, after the competition. She got the routine. Over here getting her blood tested. There's no sound. So I guess you got some sports lady doing measurements and stuff. I mean, bro, I definitely ain't got that kind of money. She got a boyfriend. So if you guys don't know, she got injured at the last ADCC, I believe. 2024, and then she was out for a good year, basically. So yeah, she's over here. She over here getting that blood tested and everything. Shoot. That's awesome. Talking about B team, we got the B team lineup. You got at 66, you got Ethan Krinelstein, I don't know how Ethan makes 66, guys. I have no clue. He's bigger than me. Joseph Chin at 77. Joseph Chin is big too. Chris Wojcik at 88. Nicky Rod at -99, and Victor Hugo. And as far as the coach, who do you think will be the coach? I'm assuming it's going to be Nicky Ryan or somebody. Or maybe Dima. Who knows? It says tickets are available now. So if you guys are in that area, Rich Homie Quan, you going to CJI, bro? It's August 30th and 31st. So it's coming up next month. Yeah, almost 2 months. But it will be next month. Someone said, wait a minute, Ethan is smaller than Joseph. I mean, they all big. Everybody over there big. I've had the chance to train with Ethan. He was pretty big. He was strong. He was stronger than me. And I was bigger, but he was stronger. Says size doesn't matter if you know how to use it. It's all about the angles. Says Nikki is the coach. They literally said it on the B Team YouTube channel. Okay. Someone said, I appreciate the support, everyone, but I think Chris is a better fit for this rule set anyway. He's more dangerous when it comes to hunting submissions. Yeah, you know, the thing about submissions is people don't really understand it. You know, Mikey Musumeci going for the leg for the whole UFC BJJ. Nobody really understood it. You know, not the new people. People don't care about submissions. They want to see the tacket stuff, flying around, jumping around. I think J-Rod would do a good job out there, but he's setting this one out. So yeah, it sounds like Nicky Ryan will be there.
I think he plays that shit up, bro.
Wait, you think he plays up his autism?
He'll come out and he'll do this. Bitch, you know. Any grappling match, a wide open mat. He'll go to the checkpoint. Bitch, get on the mat. Cut it out.
Let me had music. But let's watch it. Mikey. Mikey. You got a point there, Mikey. I don't know if Mikey's playing up the autism or the autism's just really strong in him. You know, it's like the Force. He's the chosen one. You were supposed to save the Jedi. Darth Rigatoni. Is that why Mikey's Darth Rigatoni? Because he was the chosen one? With the instead of the midichlorians, he got the autism. You were supposed to save us. Darth Rigatoni. It makes sense now. I understand. Someone says he definitely plays it up. You'll notice if you pay attention. I don't know, bro. Is he trying to get sympathy? What's the point of playing up the autism? Yeah, well, it seems like it backfired. Nighttime World, what's up, man? Nighttime World, you need to go to sleep, bro. Joseph Chan. Yeah, that's his real name, Joseph Chan. Said he got good during COVID by just watching instructionals. So I bought a couple of Gordon's instructionals, but they're 8 hours long, and I don't know how to really watch them. You need more autism, bro. If you had the autism, you would understand. My man Joseph Chan over there. I know you meant to say Chan. I'm gonna say Chan. I like that. My man Joseph Chan over there trying out different juices. You know, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with all this autism, but seems to be the cheat code in jiu-jitsu, you know? Seems to make your jiu-jitsu better. Someone says, being autistic myself, it's easier to spot. If you pay attention, you'll see it. If you choose to not do your due diligence, that's also fine. But trying to downplay the opinions, I don't want to get into the autism talk too much. Yeah, I'm not sure if Mikey's playing it up or I don't know. I think Mikey's just being himself. I don't know. I don't think he is playing it up. Maybe he could be. Darfrigatoni. I don't know. I'll take Mikey over. We cover wrestling too. I'll take whatever Mikey has over what the wrestlers are doing over at Penetration State College. So we'll be talking about Chaudhary, the guy that runs One Championship, a little bit today. We talk about Mikey enough. It says One Championship faces crisis across multiple fronts. I don't know. I don't like any of these fighting organizations. Nighttime World says, I think having autism just makes you more obsessive compulsive, like OCD. Yeah, that's true. That is true. It makes you a little bit more obsessive, which helps you get better. It does help you get better at the cost of all your other social skills, as we see with Mikey and Gordo. It says 90 million lost in 2023. Wow. Over 530 million in total losses since inception. Only 24.6 million in net assets left. Qatar Investment Authority embarrassed by involvement. Major Qatari sponsors have pulled out. Champions and veterans publicly warn others. Don't sign with one. Inactivity, contract disputes, and lack of communication drive talent away. Wow. Multiple rounds of layoffs, staff cut in 2024, more in 2025, executive departures and shrinking workforce signal instability. Amazon Prime Video and Turner Sports both exit. U.S. expansion stalls, global reach shrinks. U.S. shows scraped or postponed. American market presence nearly wiped out. Chaudhary Dong. I can't say his last name, guys. Public outbursts infused with fighters and promoters. Managers damaged reputation. One esports and mobile game launch failed to deliver new revenue or fans. A flop. Company burns cash. Relies on new investors to stay afloat. Long-term viability in serious doubts. So, One Championship not looking good. That's why Mikey got out of there, I believe. A lot of stuff going against him. Someone says, and they won't let me go. So some of the fighters are stuck in their contracts. That's the issue with those exclusive contracts. Say, God forbid, the UFC gets taken down. You got to be stuck in the UFC. Says, just leave, bro. They couldn't afford lawyers to sue you if they tried. Welcome to the club. Says, I'm the club president at this stage. They also going to hit you with that right to match BS at the end of your contract. It says, I thought they released all MMA fighters. Move away from MMA to Muay Thai. It says, nope, seems most ranked MMA guys all getting benched. You're not the only one. They held many fighters back under the pretense of contracts, keeping them inactive for years and without fights. So it's crazy the Brazilians over there getting in that contract, and they're going to get screwed over. So you might see all those Brazilians over there at One Championship, Baby Shark and those guys. They might have to jump over to UFC or back to one, or back to Who's Number One or something. If you did your research, you could see this coming, probably. There's been echoes of this issues with One Championship for years, but BJJ people, they don't do their research. Even with all the autism, they don't sit there and think about what's going on with the business overall. It says, yeah, I won't publicly say their names, but I've heard the same story with some people I know. Let's see. Nothing makes sense here. We've been hearing this for 5 years, and it's by far the most exciting fighting promotion on the planet. 90 million lost on what exactly? Most events are in Bangkok. What should matter is that they have an amazing product that we should support instead of bashing them. It probably ran its course, It says one has done more damage to Muay Thai over the past 5 years than the gamblers did in 20. I'm not sure about that, but it could be true. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. Just a little teaser. We got Team USA. One thing I like about America, they get the Team USA athletes, the Olympians out there doing like little, they get to throw the baseball. Is she pregnant? I hope she is. Or maybe she. I don't know. I don't want to speculate. I'm sorry, lady. They let the Olympians throw the baseball, get in the car during the parade. Okay, she must be pregnant. USA. I hope so. I don't know which Olympian this is. Marlins. What sport does she play? The Florida Marlins? Oh, she's in. I don't know who this is actually. Oh, this is a judoka girl. Okay, my bad. What's her Juji Angie? Okay, Angelica Delgado. My bad. I forgot who the girl was. She's a really good judoka. Looks like she's supporting the baby bump. Shout out to her. Okay, I didn't recognize her for some reason. Let's click on her channel real fast so you guys can see. She's really good judoka, so if you want to follow someone in judo. 3-time Olympian. She I guess she just got married, so she, So she's up there with like Kayla Harrison and some of the other ladies, Shout out to Team America over there. We support you. Alrighty. I'm sorry I didn't recognize you. When ladies get pregnant, they look a little different. Buchecha, he's a free agent, so I guess they let him go for one championship. Shout out to Buchecha. I don't know where he's going to go, but good luck to him. It says Buchecha leaves one championship and is now a free agent. So he hadn't fought in a long time. He confirmed he won't renew with one championship. All eyes are on what's next for the heavyweight legend. I don't know, he's not the best fighter. He should just go back to jiu-jitsu. So maybe he can go to the UFC. I don't know. I don't know. Jason Whitfield said it's true. All I see is kickboxing and Muay Thai on one. They say they give away 6-figure contracts weekly, but that could be $100,000 over 10 fights, or it could be like $10,000 a fight if they're lucky. So Chaudhary was giving Mikey $50,000 every time he was fighting. So Mikey, I'm not saying Mikey helped bankrupt one championship, but they definitely paid Mikey well. So all my Brazilians over there fighting for one championship, you better, I don't know, think about your next step. We got, was that Jao? Jao over there with 10 Barimbolos. Can't play that music. We got the classic Berimbolo. I don't know what that one was. They got different names for it. The one where you roll on top. Berimbolo, controlling the legs. Shout out to the Meow Bros. I got a chance to go for Bolo Monday. We got Magic Monday, but the Meow Bros, they got Bolo Monday. So I went up there a couple weeks ago. And I got to do some Barimbolos at the gym. It was pretty cool. If you guys are ever in Jersey City, go check them out. And I just wanted to show that. If you guys want to check it out, it's on Jiao Meow's channel. Bro, we got a lot of tabs out open over here. We got AJ Ferrari. He got a new water sponsor. Can't play that music. But of course, it's him lifting and drinking water. My man definitely going to have some injuries the way he be lifting. So shout out to AJ Ferrari. I believe he's going to Nebraska. Where is he going? Yeah, he definitely going to have some injuries in the future. He's had injuries. But shout out to him. He's getting that sponsorship with Eternal Water. That seems to be the Gen Z thing, getting a water sponsorship. But shout out to him. The last couple of weeks we've been covering nothing but wrestling, but that's something good from wrestling. I'm hoping all the wrestlers stay out of trouble for the next couple days. No more. I don't want no more wrestlers getting in trouble for the next couple days. Now it's called Eternal Water. Talking about people, we got Baby Shark over here. Look at Baby Shark. We got some allegations on Baby Shark apparently. We got some allegations over here on Baby Shark. But he was giving a seminar, and you see, he looks like the kids in the seminar. I can't tell the difference between him and the kids at the seminar. So I don't know. I don't know if man went through puberty. I think his puberty got halted. They halted my man's puberty. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Baby Shark, but he was doing the little kid seminar. I mean, he looks like the kids at the seminar. Dun, 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 dun.
Pra ter uma oportunidade de entrar comigo, então.
Mas quase 100 pessoas aqui. Se não mais.
É isso aí.
Esse pontuou esse Maritinho.
Aí eu vou ter que sair, né?
Aí eu vou ter que pegar a fila, pô.
Aí eu vou ter que pegar a fila.
So yeah, some of the allegations are saying that they gave him some supplements when he was younger, so he never, his puberty, he never developed, the masculine voice, the voice like I got, that masculine voice.
Aí eu vou ter que pegar a fila, pô.
Aí eu vou ter que pegar a fila.
Mas agora eu vou entrar com todo
mundo. Pra ter uma oportunidade de entrar comigo, então.
Mas quase 100 pessoas aqui. Se não mais.
É isso aí.
Esse pontuou esse Maritinho.
Aí eu vou ter que sair, né?
Aí eu vou ter que pegar.
Vocês cansaram? Eu cansei.
Mas é nóis, a gente consegue fazer mais uns 10 rolos.
Se deixar, vai ficar o dia todo.
Bro, he sounded like that little girl. He sounded exactly like that. Listen, guys. He sounded exactly like that little girl.
Eu cansei.
Mas é nóis,
Cansado?
a gente consegue fazer mais uns 10 rolos.
Se deixar, vai ficar o dia todo.
He sounded exactly like the little girl. So, not to speculate, but they're saying that, some of the supplements that he took, that didn't allow his voice to undergo the normal changes. And maybe he already had a hormonal thing going on, I don't know. Moving on, we got Espen over here showing some good technique. Can't play that music, but he over here rolling good, taking that. Look at that crab ride. I don't know what Homeboy was doing against Espen. A better me 101. He says you're a mean dude. I was telling the truth. What did I say that was wrong? What did I say that was wrong? But shout out to my boy Espen over there, taking everybody's back. I want to see Espen keep competing. It's easy to get, I don't know. Just keep competing, Espen. Keep competing out there, bro. He doing good, though. This is Athlete Reveal Week. So we got Claw Champions League American Wrestling coming out soon, actually. And it says, find out which wrestlers registered for the July 21st draft in Atlantic City. and it's one weight class per day. So they got a lot of NCAA wrestlers, Division II. They didn't have any Division III, but I think it would be worth it to have some Division III on there. They had some other people too, some past champions too. It says win prizes for every announcement post. You can win a subscription to Claw Total Access. So if you guys are in the Atlantic City area, or you're interested in this, seeing the sport grow a little bit more, check out Claw. This reminds me a lot of PGF. They're doing very similar to PGF. With the draft, and you have teams. With PGF, they had like $15,000, and they had to buy off the athletes for like $1,000. Nighttime World says blowing snot until his shirt. Yeah, he's still a kid. I mean, he'll kick my butt probably. He might be able to kick my butt. I don't know. I haven't fought him before. But he definitely a kid. I mean, he's like 20 years old or something, but he's still a kid to me. So yeah, that's Claw Wrestling, Champions League American Wrestling, and then you guys got RAF, Real American Freestyle, coming out too. So we'll see how these organizations do. You never know; they might be the next big thing.
What are you doing?
Oh, shit, sorry. I didn't see you there. I'm actually just getting ready for my WNO match against Wagner Roch's daughter. We're just practicing our knee slices. It's pretty much all we need. So you catch me on WNO, hitting a few of these there.
Oh. Little shade thrown to Wagner Roch's daughter. It's crazy she didn't even say, what's the girl's name? Jasmine Hosha? She didn't even say her name. Should be pretty interesting. You got Adele. Adele was looking good, right? She's been looking good in most of her tournaments. Very submission oriented. The only thing I think Jasmine can do is, create some scrambles, create some somewhat illegal situations. My only advice to Adele is to bring some backup, girl. You going to Miami? You think you're gonna beat the Hoshas in Miami? You better bring some backup. You need Andre. You need Angelica. You need some people over there to back you up, girl. Just in case that fight pop off, you're gonna need some Rough Riders with you. You might need Sarah Galval in your corner. Just expect it to be dirty. You go into Miami and you're gonna fight some Hoshas. You better bring some backup. Jasmine said, "I didn't know you knew what top was." Well, she tapped. Actually, Adele already tapped out Jasmine Hosha before at the last ADCC. Adele came on top. Pause on that. She got on top, and she tapped out Jasmine Hosha from an armbar. So we'll see how Jasmine does. I don't know. We'll see. I'm Team Adele. Unless Adele fights Fionn, then I'm Team Fionn.
On Ringworm, I've got a lot of DMs. Some people are really cool. Some people are just batshit crazy. So I figured I'd share a couple of the messages and posts here. So one person said borax works just fine. So the reality of that is borax by itself does not kill ringworm. It does not kill staph. You have to add a bunch of other ingredients for that to work. So then someone said, okay, and this is a really cool guy. His name is Just a Kid from the Bronx too. Love this guy. Marine Corps vet. I'm a veteran. So we already got that connection right there. And he had a really interesting way to deal with this. Was he gets tied and he adds some pine with, I don't know if that's pine sol or pine, and he's hoping to kill the ringworm. The reality of that, it just doesn't work because ringworm is very resilient. It can survive a normal wash cycle. By the time the pine gets through the rinse cycle, it's too diluted to do anything. So then we had the troll and he said, not better than Tide, that's for certain. First of all, thanks for the tip. If I ever wanted my rash guard to smell like flowers, I would just hug a bottle of Tide and just hope for the best. So we haven't even released it yet, so I don't even know what you're comparing it to. you. Moving on. Linda7034 said, there is no free sample. Hey, Linda, thanks for the comment. These samples are totally free. We're even paying for shipping. And all we ask is for you to give us a review to help guide our product focus. So it's totally free. And if you haven't already done so, get on the mailing list and also sign up with your email so that we can get this out to you. We're going to start sending them out pretty soon here. And we want to make sure that you get yours. All right? I'm out. I've been getting a lot of attention because of my posts on Rank.
So I guess this guy owns a company. I don't know about this name. It says Manly Loads Detergent. Is that real? Pause on this whole company. Manly Loads? Is this Diddy's company? Did Diddy start a detergent company, guys, that I didn't know about? Manly Loads. This can't be real. Manly Loads Detergent. Is that real, guys? That can't be real. Guys, if anything pops up, don't blame me, okay? I don't know what's going to come up from manlyloads.com. Manly Loads. Manlyloads.com. Who came up with this name? Guys, you can't just name everything whatever you want. Manly Loads? Make sure you pour the Manly Loads into your washing machine? That name is terrible. I don't care if this kills ringworm. I don't care if this takes out ringworm. I don't know what this is. It's too raw for grocery store shelves, rejected by Amazon. What is this? Manly Loads was rejected by Amazon? And remember, guys, that's manlyloads.com. I'm not sponsored by them. I don't know what to say about this detergent over here, guys. Maybe it's worth it. I don't know. Oh, Combat Clean. That's what it was. Oh, from the makers of Manly Loads detergent for men. I will say, if you have a detergent company and you're aiming towards ghee or no ghee, put the person with the ghee or no ghee on there. So I don't know what to say. That name is not very well thought out. Manlyloads.com. What's going on, guys? We got Laboro. Ricardo Laborio. He's over here. I don't know what he's doing, but he looks like he's giving a class to the kids. It says, respect is also the way we treat ourselves, our beliefs, and our belongings. Respect is showing ourselves and others that we value them as a person. All right, so he's giving some lessons over here. We do somewhere along the lines, jiu-jitsu, I don't know. It's not really a martial art anymore. It's just about ego now. It's about taking vitamins. It's about egos. It's about money. I haven't heard anybody talk about it being a martial art or talking about respect or discipline. When's the last time you heard anybody talk about that stuff? I've heard people talk about nose beards and their tummy hurts and making money. I haven't heard anybody talk about being disciplined and, teaching and sharing the knowledge or any of that. So it really makes me think, I love to see this. Laborio's giving little seminar on respect to the kids. Which I believe more people need to do in their kids' classes. It's not just about beating people up or being good and rolling. I bet you the best schools in the world, they don't talk about respect and discipline. And it says few people will understand these problems. So they got all the medals down there on the floor. My internet's going slow, guys. I don't know. Yeah, having all the medals. Why are they on the floor though? It says when you run out of space for the medals. It's about the quality of metal though. All I see is open metals. I don't see no worlds. Okay, I see a master's pans. I see pans or something. Yeah, get the good metals out of there. It says $12,000 in registration fees. Yep. Yeah, you don't know where those metals came from. Take care of your metals, guys. You know, you're gonna remember those metals. It's gonna be some memories on them.
Mikey needs to mention because he's really good. He beat one of the best in the whole world, and I want to at least be as good as him or be better than him.
So the kids, this little Mikey over here, why has he got a tattoo on his chest? This kid already got a tattoo. That kid already got a tattoo. I can't play the music, guys.
Win or lose, because when you do your best, you win no matter what. I just train a lot of different guard, and it helps my whole guard game.
That kid already got a tattoo. Nighttime World says in Korea and in Japan, there's more respect towards the arts. I mean, those cultures just more respectful. You come to America, bro, we ain't got respect for nobody. We ain't got respect for kids or elders, people with disabilities. We ain't got respect, man. Unfortunately, so. And that's something, traditional martial arts really excelled at, just teaching people at least the basics, how to be disciplined, how to have respect, how to carry yourselves. Look at this kid over here. He got a fake tattoo. You couldn't do that in Japan or Korea with a kid. In America, you like, whatever, son. You can do whatever you want. I'm not saying tattoos are bad, guys. I'm not saying that. Got a little bit of wrestling. This is what happens when the flying squirrel goes wrong. Oh. They're going to slam you in wrestling. They don't care. In wrestling, you jump up. They just going to slam you. 4 or 5 point throw right there. You know he's going to feel that in his 30s. They both got injured. He already here destroying his wrist and elbow. Other dude's back is torn up. Yeah, I'm not saying the tattoos are bad. I'm just saying I don't know what I'm saying. I just don't like what I'm seeing. Talking about wrestling, look at these wrestlers.
We're good. We're good. Good job. Hey, sit over here. Hey, calm, collected. Look for your fireman. That shot's beautiful. That bad shot. Oh. Good. Man. Look at all that flashy stuff. Hey, just stuff the head and go. That's it. Hey, calm and collected. We're good when we're coming. You're good. We're good.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely not a good wrestler, but at least he out there. Bro, how many tabs I got open, guys? We got Mark Coleman. I think he got kicked out of here for this. He definitely got kicked out of there for that. People are like, what is this old dude doing over here? Why is this old dude over here doing this at the pool? He just had double hip replacement too, guys. He says, yes, I got kicked out for this, but I was finished. Enjoy life, but set your goals high. It's crazy how old people get, look at him. He over there looking terrible, actually. Look at him. This old man might knock you out, though, if you let him grab you. I'm going to kick that leg, though, if you try to hit me. I'm going to cave that knee in. I shouldn't be fighting old people anyway. But look at him when he was younger, it's crazy. I guess that was 30 years ago, though. It's just crazy how old people get. He's not the Hammer no more. Look at him back, that was 30 years ago. It's crazy. He went from being on top of the world. He's also on a lot of supplements back then. on top of the world essentially to like, looking like an old man in 30 years. He did a lot though. But even 20 years ago, he fought like 20 years ago. He still looked well, that's before the double hip replacement. But I guess everybody just slows down eventually. Like, no matter what you think, or I don't care if you're Gordon Ryan or Craig Jones or whoever, everybody slows down. You can't be making those nose beard jokes when you're 60. Because that nose beard might kill you. Like, this was him in 2005. I can't play the audio, guys. It hit me. But look, he was, he was looking older too. He looks like a completely different person in 20 years. Again, this is before the hip replacements and whatever else he had going on. It's just wild. Something to keep in mind, we all going to slow down. I'm still fighting, but talking about Japan in nighttime world over there, we got Yui Sasaki. I'm a huge fan of hers. Huge fan of hers. She's a really good wrestler. She just did a camp over in America. I don't know if we talked about this. Did we talk about this? So yeah, she did a big camp in America. It says New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. The tri-state. Where was this? Why didn't I go to this? Why wasn't I there? A lot of times they do the camps for the girls, though. I would have been over there. They were, Alec, get out of here. This is for the girls. This is for the ladies. You can't be over here. I guess she also had her birthday. That's awesome. Listen, guys, if I had known, I would have gone to the wrestling clinic and gotten kicked out. If you guys don't know Yui, I believe she's an Olympic champion.
My name is Yui.
Let me replay that. My name is Yui Sasaki. Huge fan, guys. I'm not making fun of her. I'm a huge fan, actually.
What is your name? My name is Yui Sasaki.
So she's really good at wrestling, really good wrestler. She got taken out of the Olympics last year. Yeah, I believe by Sarah Hildebrandt. Is that the girl that took her out? No. Was it the Indian girl that couldn't make weight in the finals? But yeah, Yui's really good. Huge fan. Talking about 4th of July, we got Amit Alor over there running the parade. Where's Mika at? Guys, I don't believe in these long distance relationships over here. She's doing the press conferences and the parade, so shout out to her. She was the Grand Marshal for the Pleasant Hill 4th of July parade, so shout out to her. I don't know where that is, but shout out to her. Yeah, but where's Mika at? What we got going on? It says Zane Rutherford is joining Claw, Champions League American Wrestling, and is looking to shake the league up in its debut season. The Penn State legend looks to score big points and pins this year. He will be one of the top picks in the Claw draft this year on the 21st of July. So be on the lookout. So Zane is really good.
He's putting people through a tremendous amount of pain.
So that's cool. I love that there's more outlets for the senior wrestlers. They can't get that NIL they might get a little bit of NIL money depending on when they graduated, but this is good that they have something outside of international competition or being on like the Olympic team or the World's team. So we'll see how this works. You guys know that Claw, it kind of combines. It's like,
if you aren't familiar with Claw, they are a professional wrestling league with a new and creative rule set. Their rules combine the best of freestyle, folk style, and include some new innovations that incentivize wrestlers to put points on the board and push the action. Claw will be hosting their first.
Hopefully that music didn't get me. So it's gonna be 6 teams. It's basically exactly like PGF. It might be cool. We'll see. It might be cool. And I will say Raph kind of got like the better, pause that. Raph, Real American Freestyle, they had more money. They got Hulk Hogan money. So they got better athletes, like Kennedy Blades and Kyle Dake and those guys. Bo Nickel. But I think Claw might hit with like the younger audience. So we'll see. Talking about the younger audience, we got, all these kids they're using the Zyn now. In Sweden, we call it snus, but here in America, they call it Zins. The little pouch of tobacco you put in your lip. That music. But yeah, look at Show Your Old jumping in on the trend over here. Shout out to my boy Frankie and the other kids at Max that be using that crap. Yeah, I mean, I don't support any drug use or anything, The only drugs you guys should be using, I mean, don't use any drugs, actually. Ibuprofen. Advil. So, Show Your Old going to sell you this for about $40. I don't know. Maybe. It seems cool. Rich Homie Quan, you going to get this, bro? Someone says, glad to see all the shared negative experience responses. Nicotine is terrible for cardiovascular performance and endurance. Puts unnecessary strain on your heart and increases heart rate and blood pressure. Causes vasoconstriction. All right, so it's not good for you. I mean, we all know that. These kids don't care. They're trying to stay up so they can game or work. Talking about Brazil, we got Harrison over here. Harrison Gabriel. I was calling him Reverson, but his name's Harrison. He's born and raised in Cantagalo. That's where Ted Day's from. A favela in Rio de Janeiro. The very same one that gave birth to the legend Ted Day. Harrison Gabriel represents the revival of raw, authentic jiu-jitsu, born in the streets and forged through grit. In 2025, he shocked the world of jiu-jitsu by beating Diogo Hayes, the guy that sounds like a little kid, one of the top athletes on the circuit, a moment that reminded many of Ted Day's golden era. Come on, nobody. The only person that reminds people of Ted Day right now is Jansen Gomez. I think he need to have surgery on that knee, so he probably out for a bit. It says, helped by his coach from Alliance Rio de Janeiro and our first international athlete, Nathan Chung. Harrison followed up with a grueling match against Mikey, though he didn't take the win, but his resilience and high-level performance earned him global respect. Is he having surgery? Let's see. Did they tag him? I'm for sure think he needed surgery on that leg. Quan, what's up, Quan? Quan, you getting that Show Your Roll Zen thing? Quan says, the only drug I take is coffee, caffeine, and alcohol in social situations. Quan says, stay away from that Zen. Yeah, but if they make a Show Your Roll brew or AP brew, is his knee okay? That knee definitely not okay.
Só repliquei o que eu fazia, o que eu já fazia.
I just want to see if his knee's okay. Looks like he's giving a seminar. Uh-oh. Yeah, hey, no stability on that knee. You saw that knee, guys. He have no stability. Did you guys see that? He need to have surgery on that knee. Did you guys see that stability on that knee? Or the lack of stability? Look at that. Did you guys see that? Look at that one more time. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Whoop. My man is about to topple over. So I don't know if that knee, I feel like that knee got dismantled for Mikey. It's crazy. Mikey, the whole time Mikey's like, I'm trying to grow the sport, but his whole jiu-jitsu style puts everybody off. New people. The people that he's trying to market the sport to, they don't know what the heck he was doing. Let's see what Harrison's up to. I don't know. I guess he's chilling. Seminars and whatnot. Graduations. Yeah, but Mikey's style, that was not going to help grow the sport. You know what's going to help grow the sport? Mackenzie Dern, though.
Yes, because I have to provide the lifestyle. I have to maintain the lifestyle at my house, at his house. That's my obligation, I guess, which is crazy to me. So crazy, because I'm like, well, I want to stay more time with her too, Right. They say technically if I want to and I don't want to work, I don't have to work. We can both just not work and then we'll just give her that type of life, I guess, lifestyle.
So the alternative is basically if you don't want to have to pay for his lawyers, for him to maintain the lifestyle you had when you guys were together, because you make more money than him, the court expects you to provide your same lifestyle and he doesn't have to have a job. Or the alternative is, okay, you just don't work, he doesn't work, and then you guys just live with whatever's left.
Yeah.
The state of California is expecting you to fund him not having a job.
Yeah.
I thought Mackenzie Dern's baby daddy was a professional surfer or something. How much do those guys make? Let's see. Who else be doing research on their live stream like me? Says surfers outside the top 100 with good regional profile might earn between 20 to 50,000 annually from a few sponsors. Top surfers can earn between 250 and 400,000 annually. How good was the guy that Mackenzie Dern was with? Yeah, it's professional. I was about to say professional wrestler. He was a professional surfer, Wesley Santos. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much money he was making. Maybe it wasn't that much. Maybe it wasn't that much. I mean, who told her to have I don't want to victim blame, but who told her to have a kid with this dude? He looks like a good dad, right? Is that the kid? At least he's spending time with the girl. He looks like a good dad. He's in all the pictures. Yeah, look at him. He's in all the pictures surfing with his daughter. Okay. Looks like the girl's happy. The daughter's happy. She's skateboarding. She's surfing. Okay. Let's look at Mackenzie Dern now. Again, I'm not victim blaming or victim shaming. Oh, wait, wrong girl. I don't know who that was. All right, on the flip side, we got Mackenzie Dern. What's she got going on? She got her daughter, grandpa. She got to work on there mostly. I don't know what to say. What is that work, guys? Is this work related? Actually, she says make sure to sunscreen. So that's just a public health announcement. I mean, if I'm a lawyer and I'm looking at their social media presences, do I want the daughter around the parent that's fighting for a living? Maybe throwing a few thirst traps out there. I'm not against the thirst traps. Hey, what's up? What's going on, girl? Who's that guy? Do I want the kid around the parent that's, a professional fighter that's, beating people up for a living? Or do I want the daughter with the parent that's surfing and skateboarding? Who do you want that daughter with? Again, I am judging a little bit, but I'm not shaming anybody. We got Devontae. What he got to say?
What's up, guys? We're about a week out from my last competition, the AIGA Champions League final. After my performance at the AIGA Champions League final, I was able to land myself in the top 10 of the 205 division in the Flow Grappling rankings. Now, the Flow Grappling rankings aren't the only form of rankings, but I think we can universally agree that they're the best when it comes to kind of like just giving us an idea of who the best Nogi grapplers are on the planet. So I generally tend to go by, the Flow Grappling rankings because I think they're the most credible right now. With that being said, I'm top 10 and I'm looking for matches against any of the top 5. Okay. Now, there's mainly 3 organizations in which if you're looking to have matches, you're probably going to be competing on. And that's Who's Number One, One Championship, and the newest kid on the block, UFC BJJ. All of these organizations are doing a fantastic job of showcasing high-level jiu-jitsu and just putting the athletes in a position to have great matches against some of the best on the planet. And I believe I am one of those guys. I think in the 205 division, I am without a doubt one of the best in the division. I just started making my way up this division. So, the best is yet to come. Okay.
Shout out to Devontae. He's really good. He's won Nogi Worlds and he's beat some of your favorite grapplers. Someone said it's pretty wild that one of the best grapplers, he got to go on social media and beg for a match, in these organizations. So instead of, organizations coming after him, he's over here I understand you got to promote yourself, but he's already proven that he's, one of the better, bigger guys. But that just kind of shows the state of the sport we're in. It's very, people have their favorites, and it's usually the usual suspects, Whenever there's a match and there's a certain weight class, I can just guess 3 or 4 names that are going to be on the show, and it's usually pretty accurate. So it's not very merit-based in this sport. It's very just who you know, who you're around, what part of the country you're in. So I want people like Devontae to get more shine. He's really good. Some of you guys don't like his style, but he gets results. So I'm hoping he gets more matches. He can fight some of these better people. Instead of having all these influencers, these YouTubers on the show, give the spot to grapplers that are under I want to say more deserving. Yeah, they are more deserving. So yeah, it's rough out here. You can't just be an athlete anymore. You gotta do the social media grind. You gotta live stream. You gotta podcast. You gotta make some TikToks. You gotta be dancing on TikTok. Whatever that dance is. You gotta be dancing on TikTok. You basically a clown. If you want to make it in this sport, your tummy's gotta hurt. You gotta do nose beers. You gotta do a lot of questionable stuff. A lot of questionable stuff. That's why your boy hasn't made it yet. I don't want to do that questionable stuff. So yes, you can't just be good at your sport, you know. Even Mikey got to play up his autism to make it. Even Mikey got to play up that autism angle to make it in this sport. And talking about this sport, we got Tackett versus Canuto. What's crazy to me, you know, Tackett's really good. Canuto's good. Canuto, isn't he in PGF? Or he's just a coach in PGF? Canuto, he on 2 different shows. Isn't he busy that July 31st? Doesn't he have a show on doesn't he have to be on the PGF show on the 31st of July? I mean, you know, I'm happy for these guys to get that check, you know. But at what cost, you know? Same thing if somebody went to one championship. I would be like, hey, man, that might not be the best move. You might make that 50K. You might make that 50K from Chowdhury, but you might get stuck out there. Have some Thai mafia on you. So shout out to these guys, July 31st. I'm sure you guys have not seen any marketing. Have you guys seen any marketing for this? Was there any marketing for this? No, nobody's seen any marketing for this. We already forgot about it. Dana White's already moved on to the next thing. I've yet to hear anything about this show. There's been no marketing. And, you know, what's July? It's a Thursday. Are you guys going to stay up late on a Thursday, knowing full well you got to work on Friday? Why can't they put it on a Saturday? Craig Jones Official says, New Wave fans, where are you at? On the latest episode, Luke Griffith and the squad are planning to put on a show at CGI 2. Despite being doubtful the crowd will be on their side. I mean, of course the crowd ain't on your side. You train with Danaher and Gordo. Jason Whitfield going to be on your side, though. Right, Jason Whitfield? It says, I think there will be a lot of people there to see us, hoping we are going to lose. They're paying to see us, whether they like us or hate us. Make no difference to me, Luke Griffith, on what the percentage of people will be supporting Team New Wave will be, or something like that.
Of the audience, do you think is going to be there to root for Team New Wave?
Not a very big amount, I would think, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously, I think we have a lot of fans, but I think, you know, with everything going on, I think there's also a lot of people who dislike our team very much. So I think there'll be a lot of people there to see us hoping that we're going to lose. But I'm sure there'll be some people, you know, they're supporting us. But either way, they're paying to see us. You know what I mean? Whether they like us or they don't like us makes no difference to me. I'm out there on the mat doing what I love every day. So that's all that matters, you know?
What percentage?
I think it's people don't like Danaher or Gordon or some combination. Nobody really minds Big Dan or Luke or Giancarlo or Taza. Nobody, or Helena. Nobody really hates those people. I'm not saying they love those people either, but they don't really hate those people. Now they hate Gordo, except for Jason Whitfield. He loved Gordo. Someone says, I'd love to see New Wave absolutely wipe the floor with everyone, but to be honest, I just don't see that happening. With Gordon and Margali out, it's going to make things a little bit tricky for them. I think there's some really good teams, so we'll see. Again, this is coming up in the 30th and 31st of August. So So I think I don't know if it's the same weekend as Masters Worlds, but it's really close. So be sure to check that out, guys. I won't be in Vegas, but if you guys are in Vegas, go check out Rich Homie Quan. Go check out my boy Quan. Musamechi is sick of everyone claiming he cherry picks his opponents, so maybe he should stop. You got Harrison that didn't do no-gi. You got Gio Martinez, who's 10 years older. You got Shinya Aoki, who's 10 plus years older and MMA based. Well, he was a judo based person, but yeah, 10 plus years older. Who has Mikey fought? Who has Mikey fought? He fought like one or two good guys, I would say. Oh yeah, I'm not reading that. Mikey versus Cade is the match we want. I want to see Mikey versus all these big dudes. Mikey versus Gordon, Mikey versus Craig, Mikey versus Cade. We just want to see all the simulations. They're saying Mikey never did ADCC. That's true. Mikey never did ADCC. Mikey he could probably win ADCC. Maybe. I don't know. But he never did it, so we'll never know. I read this long post before. I'm not going to read it again, so I'm not going to do that to myself.
He officially revealed how he lost 40 pounds for UFC 314. Paddy weighed himself every day during the fight camp to truly show his results and how he did it. 7 weeks before his fight against Michael Chandler, he weighed in at 190 pounds, and by the official weigh-in, he needed to be 155 pounds. At this point, he said he was already eating around 2,000 calories roughly every single day. By 6 weeks out, he was still 187 pounds and still having cheat meals while in camp at this point. Fast forward to 2.5 weeks before the fight, Paddy was 175 pounds, so he was down a good 15 pounds at this point. He was on a fully strict diet by 5 weeks out, having pre-made meals made for him every day, and obviously burning a lot of calories each day with preparing for this fight. Now, 10 days before, Paddy was 172 pounds, and by this point, he knew that he was in a good position to make weight. 3 days before the weigh-in, he did not consume any salt, and he was just water loading to eventually flush all the water out. And 24 hours before the weigh-ins, Paddy was 170 pounds, so him and his team pushed hard, rotating from a sauna suit to a hot bathtub until he finally made weight at 12 a.m. that night. This is what a lot of fighters have to do to make weight for fights. Paddy the Baddy officially revealed how he lost 40.
So guys, this is not really good. When you're flushing the water out of your system, the electrolytes, that's pretty bad. So I would be careful cutting weight like this. I suggest you do it the old school way, the way that I have not been doing, but I need to. Just cardio and diet restriction. That way you're going to lose the least amount of muscle. The way he's cutting water, but that damages your muscle, your whole body. Your body's not designed to lose 40 pounds in a couple days, So just be careful, this is not healthy. Your kidneys, bro, your kidneys taking damage every time you do that kind of stuff. Liver and kidneys taking damage. Your system's taking damage, and he just balloons back up. So, so afterwards when he gains all the water back, he, that's not good. And he'd be overeating too. Yeah, so that's not good, man. That's not good.
Has been totally embraced by America, America.
And obviously there's the MMA part of it, there's the UFC, there's the Joe Rogan. It's just hard to disentangle it from all of it.
American culture,
But it's popular right now that it is a remarkable and unthinkable thing for, again, an Asian American to be like, oh, Middle America just loves this weird Asian art now.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu. I think it has something for left and right. If you're on the left, then you do jiu-jitsu, you kind of toughen up a little bit, you learn some self-reliance, and you kind of learn that no one can help you. You got to help yourself. It's one-on-one. And if you're on the right, you learn the opposite. You have to look after other people in your class. For you to have a good training session, everyone needs to be okay. Putting other people before yourself, not going for the kill every single time, because that's not what creates a good atmosphere. You talk about jiu-jitsu, it becomes above politics. You could be left or right wing, and if you talk about jiu-jitsu, you bond over jiu-jitsu. It's like a common cult
Have you been
thing.
workshopping this take?
No.
I like the idea of like the Democratic Party, actually. The DNC.
Doing jiu-jitsu?
Needs to all take jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I think it might be the answer to solving the divide in America.
Instead of an election in a martial arts tournament.
No, not fight it out. It's just jiu-jitsu might be the only common thread that could connect left and right. Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I definitely don't agree with that. I like to believe jiu-jitsu can bring everybody together, but we're gonna see later. There's always gonna be some bad seeds out there. There's always gonna be some people with some crazy ideas that just not gonna work together. You might be training with some people, and They might not like you outside of the gym. That's true. Angela Overkill says, I used to roll with a Hasidic Jewish kid that was totally comfortable with me putting him in a triangle. I mean, hey, listen, I'll let you put me in a triangle too. I'm going to escape the triangle, but I don't mind her putting me in her triangle. And vice versa, but wouldn't shake my hand after class. That's how good BJJ is at bringing people together. I mean, did it really bring you together? Maybe for a couple minutes, maybe an hour or two, but that people are people, you know, and jiu-jitsu, you know, we're all flawed too, even in jiu-jitsu. And I mean, we talked about talking about respect and discipline, because in jiu-jitsu we don't have those talks, we don't have those speeches. You know, people, you know, hey guys, we need to work together. People don't hear that in the class. They just do whatever they want. People can't even agree on warm-ups or if they should drill or not. So I know we're not going to all agree on political ideologies. So I try to keep it out of the gym. You know, try to make it a safe space. You know, not everybody wants to talk about politics or other topics. You know, you know, when people first start jiu-jitsu, they're like, man, this is the greatest thing ever. This can solve all the wars in the world. But it's just a sport, guys. It's just a sport. It's not this higher. It's not something higher, more. It's not this honorable thing. It's not this. You know, it's not gonna put you above humanity if you do jiu-jitsu. You're not better. You're not better than the person that doesn't train, or the person that does CrossFit, or the person that does judo. It's just a sport, guys. It's a sport. I used to think it would make you a better person. Now I don't believe that. I don't believe it makes you a better person. It just makes you. It can make you a healthier person physically. I don't think it's gonna make you. It can be good for your mental health, but not always. You know, look at people like Gordon and some of these other dudes. You know, their ego, it was clearly not good for them. Look at their ego and look at how they damaged their bodies. You got people on all these supplements and people abusing other people. I mean, it's just a sport, guys. It ain't a religion. You know, it ain't gonna save everybody. It's not the healthiest sport. People get jacked up in jiu-jitsu. Elbow pop, neck popped, knee popped, ankle popped, wrist popped. So I've been in the sport for a long time, so I think I have a better grasp of it than people that first start. It's like, man, it's so amazing when you first start. You know, all the endorphins and whatever else getting pumped into your brain. But just realize, guys, it's a sport. It's cool. Your average person doesn't care about jiu-jitsu. They don't want to hear about it. They're tired of you talking about it, actually. They're tired of us talking about it. And I sit here talking about it for about 2 hours a day. Speaking about jiu-jitsu and UFC, says we're going to have the UFC fight at the White House, on the White House lawn. What's going on with this country? Says we're going to have a UFC fight on the grounds of the White House. We have a lot of land there. That's what Donald Trump said during a rally in Iowa, announcing his intention to host a UFC event at the White House. You know they're going to make Dana White pay for that as part of America's 250th Independence Day celebration. I believe that's next year, 2026. According to his team, he's dead serious. There's no official confirmation from the UFC or Dana White yet, but the statement has already sparked buzz across the MMA and jiu-jitsu community. Trump's connection to jiu-jitsu isn't new. His grandchildren and daughter Ivanka also train. They train jiu-jitsu, not MMA, proving the gentle art has become part of the family's routine. What do you think of his idea?
We're going to have a UFC fight. We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this, on the grounds of the White House. We have a lot of land there. We're going to build a little... We're not. Dana's going to do it. Dana's great, one of a kind. We're going to have a UFC fight, championship fight, full fight, like 20, 25,000 people. And we're going to do that as part of 250 also. We're going to have some incredible events, some professional events, some amateur events. But the UFC fight's going to be a big deal too. And
doesn't it sound like the Roman Republic? We're going to have the circus. Let there be lions and tigers. They should just throw the lions in there. Throw the bears in there. Throw the gorilla in there, guys. Throw the gorilla into the 250th American celebration. Let's put that gorilla in there. Put that gorilla versus Sean Strickland and whoever else. Should there be a gorilla at the 250th American celebration? I think there should be one. We got main character. They got a few champions. Helena, Jed Thompson. Is that the kid's name? Gianni, Joseph Chin, Lucas Lira, some other ladies. And main character, they say, as we hit our 2nd year anniversary, we would like to highlight all of our athletes that hold championship belts. We wouldn't have gotten as far as we did if it wasn't for the amazing talent that's put the work on and off the mats. Looking forward to what's next for everyone. So, shout out the main character. They do it a little differently. They be having some people dressed up. She did good. That was good, girl. That's some good makeup. Yo, how many tabs I got? We already looked at that. We got the Craig Jones European team. What is this? Craig Jones Invitational Training Camp. Looks like the European team got Charles Negromonte. I fought him once before. He was strong. Who else over there? Some other people. So they're training over there in the UK. Los Bandidos. I hope they clean the mats. They got another guy. I don't remember that guy. Yeah, both of those guys won, I believe. So yeah, we'll see how these guys do. Someone said, "Hey mate, just a reminder: CJI is a pit, not a wall." Yeah. So I'm seeing a lot of schools. They're developing their own pit. As far as I know, nobody's made that bowl though. Nobody's made that UFC toilet bowl. But a lot of gyms can do that pit style. How they have the slanted wall. It's a little bit easier to do, I think. Talking about CJI, it says 3 out of 4. Anna Vieira will compete in the CJI Women's Grand Prix with $100,000 on the line. So you got Anna Vieira. Is that Rodolfo Vieira's sister? You got Helena. You got Adele, and who else is there? Oh, we don't know the fourth girl. So they're going to compete for $100K prize. Is it $100K just for the champion, or is it $100K split? Maybe like $60K for the first place, $20K for the second place, and then $10K for third or something. Something like that. I don't know. So we'll see. Shout out to Mikey. He's over here. He's not coordinated, guys.
I'm gonna have a different board.
Yeah. Actually, maybe he can surf. I don't know. I don't know what the heck's going on. What the heck was going on over there, guys?
I have a different board courtyard. Yeah. And then I can switch.
Oh, you got it. That's perfect. That's perfect. Awesome.
I'm gonna have a different board.
Mikey, man. Mikey's one of a kind, man. Mikey, one of a kind. I know you guys love Mikey. Mikey says, drillers make killers. Learning to surf with repetition, not ecologically, at Kevon. You know it's bad when Mikey come after you, Kevon. I learned steps, and then I memorized the coordination by drilling them. Just like jiu-jitsu was my first day ever learning to surf. After memorizing these steps, it was super fun, and I was able to do it live. Thank you so much. Kevon says, also, this perfectly illustrates why it wouldn't work. Why does Kevon... Kevon's cool, but man, I don't know, man. Says, nah, surely it is the same on land as in the water. Plot twist, it worked. Everybody coming after Kevon. Kevon said, this makes me so angry. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Everybody in the world does drilling and ecological. I mean, ecological is still a theory, right?
Systematically believe you plan your system. You cannot buy a home. You cannot get a good job. You cannot go to school without a plan. How many of you have your year planned? What's your year like today? What's the plan? Plan your year. Your year, plan your month, plan your weeks, plan your year, plan your 6 months. That's right. Plan 3 years and then go 5 years. Where do I want to be in 5 years? I tell you all the time, guys, like, is it too late for me, bro? I did it with 2 kids and 2 jobs. And you guys all know my kids. Imagine them little. They're bad now.
Dang, he said his kid's bad now. I do agree, planning your future. Wagner, I gotta say, your health should also be in your plan. Your health should also be in your plan. So, Wagner's over here planning to fight. I think Wagner needs to hang it up, retire, take care of his health. But jiu-jitsu people are some of the most stubborn people I've ever met. I'm stubborn too. But when you have a serious health scare, you got to make some drastic changes, If you want to live for that year, that 6 months, that 5 years, that 3 years, you got to make some changes. So I think Wagner, he's never going to watch this show. I'm actually glad a lot of people don't watch this show because I'd be saying some crazy stuff. But I think it makes more sense for him to, not compete anymore. He's supposed to have a match versus Kit Dell. Slow down a little bit, take care of your health, and just focus on longevity, So I don't know, man. People, I do like planning a little bit. I think you should plan as much as you can, but ultimately life. You gotta remember, guys, we're flying around on a planet in the middle of space. And our little bit of lifespan is not really much in the grand scheme of things, We got Muggsy. What's Muggsy got on? He got some shoes from Caden.
I'm not gonna read that out loud. So far, so good, Kate. I ain't gonna lie. I take that back. This motherfucking knot was tied by the Navy SEALs, boy. Kind of like an old-timey Captain America, like a 1930 Captain America type of deal. It's not white, that's beige. It's like a light-skinned motherfucker. That's what it is. You can't hate. You really can't. Even the box. The goddamn box look good. The bitch is magnetic. This shit is like a matte wrap Benz. Got a long paragraph and there's probably like 10 cents a letter in this motherfucker. Yeah, he went to China and learned how to make shoes. He ain't get them sent over. He went and learned how to do it. These are smooth. Caden got a sewing machine down in the basement himself. He said, I got you, bro.
So if you guys don't know who Caden is, he's the guy behind Claw Champions League American Wrestling. And he just came out with his own shoe, so it's pretty wild that a lot of these guys, the newer generation, they're not going to wait on Nike or Adidas or Rudis to put them on or anything. They come out with their own stuff. So I think Mikic has his own shoe. Caden's got his own shoe. Helen's got her own shoe. So in jiu-jitsu, I think it's kind of the same thing. You don't really have to wait for anybody to put you on anymore. You do whatever you want. Now, you need to have a good following. So that's the kid. He's also on YouTube, too.
And getting inside. For the first 5...
Can't play the music, but says you get a signed poster, and then you get some socks. Get the shoes. America. That might be worth getting, guys. My wrestlers out there, you need some new shoes. I need some new shoes. How much are those shoes, man? Let me see. I do need some new wrestling shoes, so maybe. He definitely a influencer, so he got all the influence and stuff. Okay, 110. No, they're sold out. No. It's sold out. Oh man, they sold out. If I had known, I would have gotten a pair. Does he have other shoes? Oh, he has other shoes, but that particular shoe is sold out. Okay. So if you want some other shoes, you got some other. He's got some other ones. I like that colorway though. That's a nice colorway. America, 4th of July already hit. Sold them things out. But shout out to him. The influencers, man, they're making a way for themselves. You don't gotta wait for the UFC. You don't gotta wait for ADCC or CJI. You can make a name for yourselves online, and you can do big things. You don't need these big corporations to verify you no more. Blackout says Nike wrestling shoes are horrible. Had the first one they made back in the day disgusting. They might be better because one of my homeboys, he wrestles D3 and coaches now. He really likes Nike. I still rock the Asics. I got one of the old JBs, but I might give Rudis a try. So we got Canuto. He over there choking out the robot. I kind of want one of those things, but they're like $4,000 or something. But if you got the money and you ain't got a Uki, I'm thinking about do the live stream and get one of these dummies, and then I can do techniques on the live stream. That might be kind of cool. Maybe. Hinato says, trust me, I thought this thing was no different from the other dummies, but with the flashing lights when you choke. But it actually has many features I've been looking in for a dummy. None of these guys can afford that $4,000 grappling dummy. Make sure you clean that thing off after you're done with it, though. Clean your Android off after you're done with it, guys. Talking about UFC, Mighty Mouse, Demetrius Johnson says the UFC is not a sport. It's like WWE all over again. It's true. Armand Sakarian, Sarukian, he says this is not a sport. This is WWE. So, they're both owned by the same parent company, TKO. He says, are the WWE vibes sliding into the UFC, or has it always been this way? No, it's more recently, I think. The one championship in UFC GOAT thinks Armin Sarukian should be next, but Patty is the bigger draw. UFC is a sport, but also entertainment. Most people watch it for entertainment purposes, so some WWE-like elements aren't bad at all, as long as it doesn't ruin the sport's integrity. What integrity? This sport's long lost its integrity. It might not have had integrity. Integrity of the sport has been killed recently. Since UFC is a company and a brand, MMA is a sport. You gotta. That's something you gotta come to grips with. Is that a lot of this stuff is entertainment. UFC, ADCC, all this stuff is entertainment. That's why they put on some YouTubers at Who's Number One. They had some YouTubers over there sticking up the mat. But because they can draw numbers, more viewers, they're gonna continue to make spaces for these influencers that shouldn't be out there. And then you got people like Devontae, who's a good grappler, but I don't know if he's the most entertaining fighter for some of you guys. So he won't get a shot, but a YouTuber that's entertaining, can't grapple though, terrible at grappling, he's going to get a shot. So that's the world we live in, and it's hard to come to grips with that. The fact that you're not seeing the best athletes, you're seeing who's more entertaining, who has a bigger social media following. It's kind of sad, actually. So moving on, we're talking about Arma BJJ. So if you guys want to go train with Fion, you can go train with Fion. It says 6 things you need to try at Arma. So Jiu-Jitsu mat space. We have 2 premium Jiu-Jitsu mat spaces with pro level grip. I'm not sponsored by these people, but I'm a fan of Fion. So we're going to talk about her gym. So you're going to have plenty of space to move around. There will be multiple sessions going on daily, led by our top coaches, Fion Davies and Egan O'Flanagan. Our cold plunge runs at a consistent icy temperature. That's a mock-up, guys. That's not what the cold plunge is going to look like. I hope not. So they're going to have the cold plunge, which is great for recovery. After training, you beat up, you jump in that cold plunge. And then they're going to have a spacious sauna, which fits up to 15 people. It's perfect for post-training recovery, improving circulation and giving your mind and muscles a proper reset. Yep. And they're going to have a little reception area. You can have your cafe, your cold drinks, and your fitness-based meals. So that's cool. And you're going to have the strength and conditioning part. And it says we got a quiet upstairs workspace, okay, with comfy seating and power, soundproof phone booths, and natural lights. Great for getting things done, taking a break, or recharging between sessions. So that's awesome. Yeah, that's going to be cool once they get done. I believe August or sometime in August they should be set. We got IBJJF.
Competitors.
Says tips for first-time competitors. Arrive to the venue 1 hour before your scheduled match. You might want to arrive an hour and a half, 2 hours before. Change into your competition attire and proceed to the test scale to verify your weight. Change your competition attire. Yeah. Check your weight when you first get there. Make sure you made weight. When your name appears on the TV, go to the gi checker and have your uniform inspected. All right. Make sure you pass through that inspection. You know, they make sure everything's fitting and proper. Once your gi is approved, go to the weight zone for your official weigh-in. They got a camera there, guys. You can't cheat no more. They got the camera. See the camera pointed right at the weight. They got the camera pointed right down at the scale. You see it right there? And there's another camera that looks at you and the weigh-in person. So after you pass the weigh-in, go to the bullpen and wait until the ring coordinator calls you for your match. Yeah, that's basically it. Find your ring coordinator's got the same number as the mat you're going to. Follow the ring coordinator to your assigned mat area, and you go out there and fight. I mean, it's pretty simple. It ain't no rocket science, guys. Enter the mat area when the referee signals, okay? They're going to confirm your name on the screen. Is that your name, Johnny, little Johnny? Okay. If you win your match, return to the check-in station and look for your next match on the TV. All right, guys. So pretty standard. You go to IBJJF, it's pretty standard. Yeah, pretty standard. You can't mess it up, man. You can't mess it up. You make sure you got the right uniform and make sure you come on time and your outfit is right. You're good. And if you medal, you go check the podium. Tell them your name. You go get your medal. You're good. It's simple, guys. Simple. We had one of the old school guys. Actually, let me come back to this later. Let's skip that too.
Oh, yeah. And I really like.
Mikey says he really didn't want to break Harrison's leg. Mikey, I felt like Mikey really hyper fixated on the legs. You know, at the every time actually. Danny Choppa, what's up, bro? He says I could have used this post before IBJF New Jersey, but that's my fault for not looking into it more. The weigh-in before competing is what threw me off. Yep, you weigh in right before you compete. You know, when you see your name on that board and you go through the gi check-in, you check your weight immediately. So you got to get there a little bit earlier. Make sure you check that test scale. Yeah, Mikey. Mikey said, Mikey, I don't know. Mikey's like, I didn't want to hurt the guy. And he over there destroying the dude's leg. I don't think Mikey's style, he got the win, but his style, I don't think it helped get more it didn't help the sport reach a bigger audience, his style. You know, if anything, from an entertainment perspective, that might have been one of the worst matches to watch, really. From a jiu-jitsu perspective, it was good, you know, to see breaking mechanics, entries on the legs. But for entertainment purposes, I don't think it was a good match. It just wasn't. It wasn't a good match. The thing that made it interesting was Harrison not tapping, really. And when people fight Mikey's over here gonna ruin your knees, your ACL, your MCL. But he also not growing the sport, so I mean he didn't really do his job. He won, which was great, but he didn't actually grow the sport really. He maybe hindered the sport more so with his strategy. I mean, if you watch the match, Mikey's hopping on one leg, he's getting taken down. It just didn't seem good. Just like, what are you doing, bro? People just see him humping the leg. Hey.
All right, y'all. I'm about to do the honors and ask Kamal Bey to launch me. Let's see if he does it.
Hey, you gotta get back. You gotta get back. You gotta get back. Ready?
Hey. That's that Greco for you, man. That Greco have you flying. Kamal Bey, shout out to Kamal Bey. He had a really good. Can I find that post? He had a really funny post. We're gonna play it again.
See that? Knees are leaving. You need your knees to be underneath. So go ahead and do it again. Yep, and just that's the problem. You're old. You're stiff like driftwood. So. All right, you gotta be able to.
He said, "You're stiff like driftwood, son." He hit him with that. I don't know what to say. If your coach says that to you, man, I don't know what to say. Go ahead and take your headgear off, take your wrestling shoes, and get off the mat. You're stiff like driftwood, son. He hit you with that old timey saying. You gotta be flexible to get into that Greco, bro. You can't freestyle. Okay, I can jump in some freestyle. Greco, I can't ever do that. I'm too old. I'm not flexible like that. I ain't got that mobility in my spine. You look at Kamal Bey. And he pushed himself back up. I can't do that. Talking about Wagner, we got Kit Dale over here.
Take Jimmy, I want to see less intensity. John, you got a boner. Tuck it away. Actually, I'm not even on a movie set. I'm at a dog park. And I don't even have a dog. You know why? Because I like to keep people guessing. And that's exactly what I'm going to do to Wagner Rocha come Who's Now Old 25 in Miami on the 25th of July. Or 24th, one of the other ones. So, here's the thing. I don't even like jiu-jitsu. I did it because I thought I'd meet a big booty Brazilian. But instead, all I got was a staph infection. I'm actually a writer, and an actor, and a director, and a part-time tattooist, and a stay-at-home mum to 3 kids that I don't have. Look, here's my next script I'm writing. It's a horror based on what I'm about to do at Who's Number One. And people keep asking me, Kit, aren't you scared? Wagner's an 80cc silver medalist. I once held my breath underwater for 43 seconds. So, I think I'll be fine. Oh, I didn't see you there. In all seriousness, tune in to Flow Grappling, or if you're in Miami, come down. It's going to be a lot of fun. I actually train to compete these days, so you're not going to see a fat Kit. You're going to see a 26 ab-having Kit Dale competing against Wagner Rocha. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, tune in. All right, cut. Great take. Jimmy, I want to see less intensity. John, you got a boner. Tuck it away.
All right, shout out to Kit Dale. He looked really good. Pause on that against Sanji Hibeto. But let's be honest. Why is Wagner Rocha fighting? My man just had a heart attack earlier this year. I did like when Kit Dale said who's now old. That's pretty accurate. Wagner Rocha should not be out there, guys. Why is he out there? So we'll see. I'll say the same thing I said to Kit Dale. You bring some backup. When you fight some Rochas in Miami, bring some backup. We got J-Rod. What's J-Rod up to? He says, raising my blood pressure every morning. You throw some salt in. That's too much salt. How much salt you need, bro? All right, that's too much salt. someone says, is this a metaphor that he's really salty about what happened? No, I think his blood work is just terrible. Don't joke around with that blood pressure, man. He said he's just adding salt to his eggs. So I don't know what J-Rod's up to. I have not seen anything. He's got a lot of shirtless pics going on, but I don't know what to say. He looks like he's still gooning, but what do I know? Can't play the music. That's Tom Aspinall. He says, let's replay that. What did Tom Aspinall say? He says, my advice would always be choose another sport. Like me, you were
the 0.01% of people.
Yeah. He says, you have a good living out of MMA. He says 95% of people have never made any money who do MMA.
It was like, reading through the card, he's like, oh, who's good? I was like, oh, I recognize this guy. I've seen this guy fight before. This guy's good.
And he said, how many of those people on the card will be able to buy a house from fighting? And I was like, what? Probably no. Yeah. So it's crazy when people like Tom Aspinall and Mighty Mouse, they're like, don't fight MMA. They both been through the UFC, and they say don't fight MMA. But the young people, think about the Sean Stricklands. I think Sean Strickland used to be smart, not so much anymore, but like you get these really impressionable kids, your Tackett's and whoever else, I wouldn't say they're very intellectual. They're not, even Mikey. Mikey's not really intellectual to me. They're not thinking about the big picture, very short-term thing. Well, when you're younger anyway, you think very short-term, even though Mikey's 29. Mikey's already made it. He is the top percentage of grapplers, but for everybody else, I don't know. It's like the money, they might make some good money now, but none of them can buy a house with, the $20,000 they made from the UFC or whatever. You maybe if you win CJI, you can maybe buy a house and a good house in most of these areas, California and Texas and New York, maybe. But it's just like, I don't know. I think that there's better ways to make that money. Seminars, products. You don't necessarily have to be wed to these organizations like One Championship and UFC. And that's kind of the beauty of like CJI. You can still do whatever you want to do. You can make a ton of money, and you can do whatever you want to do afterwards. So, people don't really take that into account. They want that, what seems like not comfort, but it seems like it's stable. If you join the UFC, it seems like a stable situation until you get kicked out of there. So we talked about this. You got Anna Vieta, you got Adele, you got Helena, and we're looking for the last person. Is that Fionn? Fionn, is that you? For that 100K women's bracket. So could be Elizabeth Clay. What's the weight class? 145 or something. Sarah Galval. Could be anybody. I want to see Gabrielle because I believe Gabrielle will beat the brakes off everybody. She's gonna beat the brakes off Helena. She's gonna beat the brakes off Adele. She's gonna beat the brakes off Anna Vieta. Throw Gabrielle in there. Throw Gabrielle in there. She's gonna take everybody's lunch money. You can put Gabrielle in the men's division. She might beat some little dudes. I didn't see this post.
Team New Wave is stacking up for CJI.
Can't play that. New Wave versus B Team. They're like enemies coming together for the greater good. Obviously, a big falling out with Gordon and John and the team, and we had a horrible split. And it's over. So it's all over social media, but ultimately a pursuit of one thing we share in common: the love of grappling. Find a middle ground together, and we were really crossed the line many times on social media, but those boys and John were able to put that aside to participate in the event. Money talks. You know, money talks. Money talks, guys. That's what that means. We're almost at 2 hours, and I'm nowhere near done, so I might speed up a little bit. UFC veteran Philip Rowe slams level competition in UFC BJJ. There's no one elite around. What do you say? He says, shout out to William Tackett and Andrew Tackett. Those are my friends, and they are studs, and I'm happy for them. They're going to keep smoking guys. You have no idea. There's no high-level grapplers in there. He says, he did fight Gordon Ryan and Craig Jones. Did he fight he fought I think I saw him fight Nicky Rod too. I mean, he didn't do well, but he did fight Nicky Rod in Atlanta, I believe. So he says the Tackets are good, but everybody else, he says there's the guy that won. Andy's a good grappler too, but I love Andy. But Tackett, bro, he's Mika Galvao. He's like Mika Galvao is with Flo, and the Rotulos are in one. He says you need a Mewtwo to beat him. You need an elite guy to beat him. I mean, there's the guys that can beat Tackett. And there's no one around, so he's going to be running through these guys easy and just running up the checks. So, the UFC, good. They get you addicted to that check. That little bit of money, they're going to get you addicted to that. But then, like, your prime kind of passes you by because you're not doing the other tournaments. Speaking of controversy, we got Josh Sanders sparks controversy over alleged extremist social media posts. So, remember when I said jiu-jitsu doesn't make you a better person all the time? We got a lot of extremists in jiu-jitsu. They might train with me one day, and then the next day they over there in some unsavory social media accounts, some podcasts talking about how they don't like some people. Australian grappler Josh Sanders has become the subject of intense backlash after Reddit users uncovered social media activity that appears to show him engaging with content tied to far right ideologies, including references to Nazi adjacent symbolism and groups. The controversy erupted on Reddit's RBJJ community, where users posted screenshots from Saunders' Instagram stories and highlights that allegedly referenced the elements associated with Nazi Germany. Can I say Nazi? And fascist belief systems. Looks like they got some posts on them. We're gonna check out some of these later. It doesn't surprise me. Some of your favorite grapplers and fighters, they believe in the same stuff. So, I ain't never gonna defend most of these people, bro. It says the screenshot circulated quickly, sparking a broader discussion about the presence of extremist views in combat sports. It's all over combat sports, and the responsibilities of high-profile athletes. Some users questioned whether Saunders was knowingly sharing the content or if he had been influenced by fringe online communities promoting pseudo-historical or conspiratorial material. Saunders, a decorated competitor on the Australian BJJ scene, has not yet issued a public response. So we're going to look at the Reddit post later, but yeah. Talking about some controversy, financial guru promoted to BJJ black belt in 3.5 years. Is that Moneyberg? Wasn't there a picture of Moneyberg and homeboy Mikey Musumeci together? Where's the picture at? Wasn't he in the picture of Moneyberg? Uh-oh. Who's that, guys? Who's that, guys? That's terrible quality, though. I mean, bro, when these dudes are hanging out with guys like Moneyberg, can you guys see that? Can you guys see that? It didn't come up on time. Is there audio?
Brain does not work well, it's gonna be tough, man. I guess you'd buy a lotto ticket or something, but I wouldn't call that an investment strategy. What do you guys think about this thought that the results tell the truth about the effort and the intellect?
Yeah, look at the shirt they're wearing.
I think my favorite thing about competing for myself, I never had a lot of self-esteem, so I couldn't tell myself that I'm good at jiu-jitsu. But what I loved about competing was the result would just say it. So I didn't have to prove it to anyone. It's just a fact. Like if I win a medal that I'm the
Why
one in
Mikey
the
wearing
world,
that shirt?
It's just a fact. So the result of that medal says that. So I think that that's such a stronger way to see life. Look at your results.
I agree. The same thing. And then in the competition, and especially in jiu-jitsu, you're gonna see a bracket, right? When it's a tournament, you can see the whole bracket. Bunch of names are there, and the high level guys, the guys that really put in work, they've really been putting in work for years.
So yeah, I mean, say what you want about me, but I would never be in the room with Moneyberg wearing his shirt. I'm not gonna be in the room on Moneyberg's podcast wearing Moneyberg's shirt. So this guy got his black belt in 3.5 years. Does he look like he trains guys? Does he look like he deserves a black belt? BJ Penn got his black belt really quickly, but, you know, he was over there winning the world championship as the first American fighter, grappler to do so. He's had 3,000 hours in one-on-one training. He never did a group session. He never did the regular class. Best training team in history. He had Lyoto Machida, Glover Teixeira, Jake Shields, Frank Mir. These crazy mofos. That dude don't deserve no black belt. And the fact they all gave him black belts, that tells you what you need to know about these people here. The fact that Mikey was sitting on a podcast with Moneyberg, with Gilbert Burns, tells you what you need to know. You know, when you join the UFC, you join some of these organizations, you're going to compromise yourself. Your morals, your beliefs. They're going to have you giving some dude that don't deserve no black belt a black belt. 0 days missed. He looked like he got 0 days trained. That dude ain't trained nothing. So, you know, whenever I'm hard on the UFC, I'm hard on one championship too. You know, you join these organizations, you're going to compromise yourself. Danny Toppa says, I know some of this. I shouldn't laugh, but I think the lack of awareness of some of the crap that is spewed is why I laugh. See, yeah, combat sports community nowadays is so unhinged. Yeah. Mikey, you gonna defend yourself? I mean, not only is Mikey ducking people, but he hanging out with some scammers, bro. Some scammers and some I don't know what you call this guy. It says Vinny Magalhaes leads the backlash. He says UFC and ADCC veteran Vinny Magalhaes didn't hold back in a scathing and thinly veiled takedown of Moneyberg's promotion. He questioned both the legitimacy of the process and the motivation behind it. They got 4 killers training day in and day out, probably rolls like a dying turtle. And everyone knows, even the instructors, that he's about that action. But hey, loyalty is loyalty, especially when it's someone's Zell's account. He continued, let's be real, if a savage DJ kept showing up every day, training like a maniac, never missed a class for 3.5 years, but didn't drop a single dime into a school account, at this point, black belt from those dojos doesn't mean anything, doesn't mean technical mastery or warrior spirit, just says promoting machines. Foxcatcher energy and commercial creep. Yeah, very Foxcatcher-esque. Sean Strickland also chimed in. He says, hey, at least everyone in that pick got paid extremely well. So, you know, a lot of these people, they're compromised, man. They ain't got no morals, you know. They've been buying and selling themselves for Dana White this whole time. Internet sleuths quickly picked apart Moneyberg's timeline, pointing out that he was allegedly a blue belt in December 2024 and somehow made it to black belt in July 2025. Even his claim of 3,000 hours of mat time was questioned. That would require over 2.5 hours of daily training every day for 3.5 years. It's a farce, guys. It ain't real. He's the EJJ black belt. Is that ecological? What does EJJ stand for? Yeah, ecological. He's been training ecologically, man. So this is what happens in the sport when you let the UFC take over, you let these scam artists take over. I mean, once you get into MMA, you just, I don't know, man. It says perhaps the loudest concern was the lack of competition experience. He ain't got none. He had one-on-one experience. Disappointment in legends. The presence of respected figures like Machida, Teixeira, Shields, and Mir. I mean, none of those guys were really, upstanding jiu-jitsu people, really. Maybe Shields for a little bit. It says, at the belt ceremony struck a nerve in the community. Shame on Frank, Lyoto, and Glover. Yeah, shame on all those dudes. Jake Shields, I expected better. These guys don't care. As long as they get money, they don't care what they say or what they do, Unfortunately, when you get into MMA, remember, we talked about that's entertainment. It's not about the sport no more. It's not about being an athlete. It's not about being the best or being good. It's about entertainment. And if Moneyberg can continue to sponsor you and give you money, you're gonna entertain Moneyberg. It says, and the real tragedy is not that the instructors are making fools of themselves. It's every legit student they've ever promoted. You could have been forged in fire, tested in battle, sweating for years, but now you're in the same boat as Mr. 15-car platinum package, Moneyberg. So that's the future of the sport. You're not going to have, that's been the theme for today. There's no discipline. There's no focus. There's no respect in this sport, in the adjacent sports. It's all about money, about what you can get from people. It's about clout, prestige. It's about everything but, the martial art, Most of these guys, I don't consider most of those people martial artists. Even Lyoto Machida, he's over there. What martial artist would give that dude a belt? And it's not just him, several people have done that. I remember some of the Brazilians gave what was the Brazilian president? They gave him a black belt. So that's the sport we're in. I understand I'm a boomer. I'm complaining, but but on the flip side, there are some real martial artists in this sport. It says Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu pioneer Richard Bressler passes away. So he was one of the first guys to train with the Americans, to train with the Gracies. It says the global jiu-jitsu community is mourning the loss of Richard Bressler, one of the sport's earliest American pioneers and a coral belt holder. Widely recognized as the first student of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in the United States, Bressler's legacy stretches across decades and has had a profound influence on the development of the art outside of Brazil. Bressler's jiu-jitsu journey began under Rorion Gracie shortly after Rorion arrived in Los Angeles and started teaching in the early days of the art's introduction to America. While many students came and went, Bressler remained committed, eventually earning his black belt in 1998, at a time when few black belts existed outside of Brazil. His contributions went far beyond the mats. In the early years of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu's arrival in the U.S., Bressler was one of the few people who believed in the art enough to invest in it. He reportedly helped fund the launch of the original Gracie Academy and even lived with Rorion Gracie in Hermosa Beach. He later became one of the investors in the first. Man, they were taking that dude for a ride. He was sponsoring the Gracies. There would be no Gracies without this dude. He later became one of the investors in the first UFC event in 1993, a groundbreaking moment that would forever change combat sports and thrust jiu-jitsu into the global spotlight. Thanks to his dedication, sacrifice, and belief in the art, countless others were able to discover jiu-jitsu and begin their own journey. So we do owe him a lot. Just a few months ago, Henner and Rorion awarded Bressler his coral belt, an emotional moment that reflected more than 40 years of commitment to jiu-jitsu. The promotion took place under difficult circumstances as Bressler was hospitalized at the time while battling stage 3 psoriasis of the liver. So that was not good. So this is from Hinner and Horian or Heron. So that's when they gave it to him.
By the way, the one thing that is like a prized possession for me.
Tell me.
When I was at Whole Foods one day in Venice, and your mom came by wearing that hoodie, and she said, "What size do you wear?" And I said, "Medium." And she goes, "It's yours." And just, it meant so much. And it's just something that, I know your mom was okay with leaving, but it's just something that I was ecstatic when she gave it to me. I was like, wow. She gave me the jacket off her back. It was the one with a Gracie big triangle on the back.
So it's just a cool Gracie jacket that you saw her wearing. You said it's a nice jacket. She said, here, you can have it.
Same size.
Same size. Well. But my mom, just so you know,
she didn't give everybody her hoodie.
She's never given anyone her hoodie.
Not
right?
that I know of.
Not even her own husband's, okay? So to be clear, when you say that's a nice hoodie.
I understand that.
So to be clear, when my mom says you can have my jacket, it's because like us, our mother knew what a significant role you were in every phase of this jiu-jitsu journey in America. So she called us and she said, Henner, whatever Richard ever wants, Richard gets. Because our mom made it clear to us, Richard has done more for this family, for us, and for the Gracie Academy, and jiu-jitsu as a whole than any other single person, right, that is not last name Gracie. So
I remember going to her house one time.
But shout out to him, like they said, the Gracies owed him a debt. They didn't give him no money, but they gave him some gear. That sounds like a Brazilian thing. I love my Brazilians. I'm going to give you a hard time. UFC reportedly showing serious interest in signing Marcus Buchecha. Well, where's Marcus Buchecha going to go? There's a monopoly over here in America. You go PFL or you go to UFC. You ain't got no other places. Bellator's gone. One championship out the door. He could go to Japan, but there's nobody really fighting in Japan like they used to. So there's really the UFC is the top dog in the sport, but they've also taken away all the competition. Pride, WC, all those small King of the Cage, all those small shows. I think one of those is still around. But all the small shows, all the big shows, they basically gone. You got PFL or UFC. And when PFL ever shuts down, UFC will be the only one. And Daddy Dana, they never going to break, Daddy Dana close to Trump. So they never going to do nothing to UFC. It says Marcus Buchecha, widely regarded as one of the greatest Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitors of all time, may be on the verge of a major career change. As reports suggest, the UFC has serious interest in signing the heavyweight grappler turned MMA fighter. After dominating the world of jiu-jitsu, he made the transition to MMA in 2019, and he later debuted in the One Championship in 2021. Let's see, he did suffer one loss. When did he get one loss? His streak slowed after a lengthy layoff and a unanimous decision loss to Rug. But he did bounce back. He had a first win submission over Amir Carberry? I can't say that guy's name. So it says Marcus Buchecha is officially a free agent after previously competing in one championship. And from what I'm hearing, the UFC has serious interest in signing him. And he has a record of 5-1. So we'll see what happens to Buchecha. Keep him in your thoughts. I think Buchecha should just go back to jiu-jitsu. Mikey explains why UFC BJJ could be the catalyst for jiu-jitsu's global growth. I gotta say, Mikey, your grappling did not help the global growth of the sport. Your grappling, your humping of the leg of Harrison Gabriel did not help, get any new viewers. So we're gonna skip that. I don't think Mikey. He says, I met with Hunter, Claudia, and Tetsi, the guys from the UFC, and we made a plan like how can we grow the sport the most. So I got behind this plan for them. Divisions, Ultimate Fighter, drug testing, everything but having exciting jiu-jitsu, Mikey. Mikey. We talked about this. Donald Trump wants to hold a UFC event at the White House in 2026. We already played that, so I don't want to go back over it. But, be on the lookout for that. Next 4th of July. Patrick Gaudio reveals Gordon Ryan helped pay for his stem cells. Look at Gordo. Look at Gordon Ryan over there helping some people out. It says in a recent interview, Gaudio revealed that not only did the New Wave Jiu-Jitsu team welcome him with open arms, but even invested actual money in his health and therefore Jiu-Jitsu. He said, is he training with New Wave now? He says, it's been great since I arrived. They have been super welcoming, They take time to teach and correct me, all of them. He says, something no one knows. When I got here, he injured his knee from a heel hook. I could barely walk. He went and paid for stem cell treatment for my knee. That stuff is really expensive, man. I feel like they really want the best for me, That's cool.
Como está a tua relação com o pessoal da academia? Com o Gordon, com o Nicolas, com o Bodoni, toda aquela turma lá?
Pô, muito boa. Tipo, desde que eu cheguei aqui, me abraçaram super bem, sabe? Me pararam para me ensinar, assim, tipo, corrigir, sabe? Todos eles, tipo, surreal, sabe? O Gordon, então, tipo, uma parada de fato, cara. Quando eu cheguei aqui, eu machuquei meu joelho, cara. Eu tomei um heel hook. Me machuquei feio, cara. Fiquei sem conseguir andar direito. Cara, ele foi lá e, tipo, patrocinou stem cells no meu joelho. Quando eu fui ver, tipo, essa parada é muito.
So wait, he hurt his knee there, and then Gordon's like, I feel bad. Let me get you some stem cells. So these guys quick to run to some needles to solve all their problems. Why are they so quick to run to a needle and these experimental treatments to heal themselves? They do everything but the PT. They do everything but not hurt each other. Danny Tapa says, I know Mikey would wax me, but respectfully, he is boring and cringe to watch between his matches and antics outside. I'm a big fan of Mikey, but I understand that I'm not the regular person that's viewing the UFC or viewing Mikey's matches. So, if someone doesn't know what's going on, it makes no sense what Mikey's doing. He's humping the leg. He humping that leg. That's what it looks like. Mikey's in the news today. Mikey Musumeci accuses Diogo Reis of being on PEDs, said he can't pass the drug test. Yep. We heard Diogo's voice earlier. That kid, he didn't go through puberty. So yeah, he mentioned this earlier. We're going to read it real fast, very quickly. He says, Baby Shark canceled the match about 4 times because he sent them all the steroids, allegedly, he's on. He said he can't pass the drug test, and I even offered to do the match with no drug testing. What was he on? Musumeci claims that Diogo repeatedly pulled out of proposed matches, blaming drug testing. But isn't he fighting in one championship now? I could be wrong. It says requirements as the reason for backing out. According to Musumeci, these cancellations not only stalled a marquee rivalry, but also took a toll on his physical and mental health. How come all of Mikey's matches were, they never went through? All the matches with Gio didn't go through. The matches with Pato didn't go through. The matches with Diego Reis didn't go through. I mean, what? None of the matches went through. What was going on with Mikey? Again, we're only getting one side of the story, so I want to hear what Diogo had to say. I want to hear what Gio had to say. He says, every month I was told I'd be fighting him. Then it was changed again. I'm not on supplements. It's not sustainable for me to be in camp killing myself like this. My first debut match in UFC, I begged for Baby Shark again, but now Mikey keeps. Who should we believe, guys? Because Mikey kept saying Mikey's always putting the blame on everyone else. Doesn't it seem like the case? He says, I begged for a match with Baby Shark again, but but now he says he's exclusive to one and can't fight me. So either everybody was ducking Mikey or Mikey was ducking everybody else. So my only issue is that Baby Shark would fight Pato. Pato will fight Baby Shark. All these guys will fight each other. They're fighting Fabricio Andre. They're fighting Harrison. As far as I know, the Brazilians really weren't ducking anybody. They fight everybody. But on the flip side, Mikey's fighting. He's fighting Eminari, who's older. He's fighting Shinya Oki, who's older. He's fighting some Sambo dudes that don't know how to tap out the leg locks. He's fighting Harrison that just started Nogi last week. I mean, I don't know who to believe. Mikey's saying everybody else was ducking him, but Mikey not going nowhere where everybody else is. You know, Mikey protected himself with the one championship and now the UFC BJJ, so he didn't have to fight those guys. So I would take everything he says with a grain of salt. Someone says my experience with Josh Sanders. We'll get through this real quick, guys, because it's almost I've been on here for 2 hours talking. 2 hours and 20 minutes talking. It says, hi, everyone. I just saw actually, let's read the other post first. Is this from Josh Sanders? Saunders? What's the ecological guy? Isn't his name Saunders too? Greg Saunders. Saunders versus Sanders. They might be related. Let me just pick one and read it. It says, what is Josh Saunders posting? Has this dude lost it? He's been posting some weird takes about history being taught wrong as of late, along with posting some pretty sketchy, overly radical pages. Embody your philosophy. Oh, I don't know what toolism is. We are their faithful descendants. Oh, okay. Radical, principled, absolute. Okay, that right there might be an issue right there. Them SS officers over there, that might be an issue. The day of the final sacrifice will arrive and the woeful fate unfold. Okay, okay. Don't defend that, guys. Don't defend that. Radical, principle, absolute. Okay, that's definitely some SS guys right there. Never lose your smile. Okay, alrighty. In the end, we win. Oh, okay. In the end, we win. Got the blue-eyed, blonde-haired. Says, where's Uncle Adolf? Yo, too risky. Just know I really wanted to put him in the post. Where's his? Is that his account? The Thulism? THULEISM. Says, in heaven, looking down on us with a smile and wishes of strength and perseverance. Okay, that might not be good. From the ashes, a fire shall be awoken, or shall be woken. Remain unfazed. Got some, looks like some tattoos you shouldn't be having. Alrighty, remain unfazed. This isn't defeatism. This is clarity. A man who loves simply deeply and still know when it is no longer loves him back. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. Danny Chopper says, man, I was listening to some of Saunders' videos earlier this year. The content was actually not terrible. Thank God I didn't stay long enough to get into this. Yeah, you don't know who you following on social media. Says, boy, the bar for pro BJJ dudes to act right is really low. And they still mess it up. I mean, you got people over there gooning. You got people emotionally abusing people. You got people pretending to be autistic and playing that autism up. For real, it's not even like these guys are rich and famous. They are delusional, though. He also likes to suplex hobbyists at local tournaments, so that tracks. Okay, cool. I first saw screenshots and was like, whatever, why is this being shared here? Then kept swiping and became progressively more horrified. He says the Toolism account is straight up neo-Nazi type of stuff. Reddit doesn't like when the word explicitly written on the post though. I went from I don't see anything wrong with philosophical musings to what the heck. I always thought he was dim-witted. That's most of those Nogi. A lot of those Nogi guys kind of dim-witted. If they had Kingsway, nobody at Kingsway seemed like they sharp. Who do you think the smartest person at Danaher? Danaher? Is Danaher the smartest person at Kingsway? And I'm sure Danaher likes it that way. Nobody can challenge his intelligence there. I don't get the world today. It's somehow cool to be fascist. I love how he makes out the world is trying to make you see things the other way. These people are stupid, uneducated morons who have been indoctrinated, and they are so stupid they actually think they are the thinkers. That sounds like Kingsway. when the dumb people think they smart, that's what Kingsway sounds like. Yo, where's the Joseph? Where's my guy at? Jason Whitfield, you gonna defend Kingsway? I ain't defending him. Who are his sponsors? Would like to avoid supporting this guy in the future. Dude is posting Nazi stuff. Is it PEDs, martial arts, being self-employed? I don't want to read that. He's just part of the common trope of people, frequently athletes, thinking being good or at least knowledgeable of one thing means they are good at all things. People around them constantly shower them with praise and hype them up. They start to believe it, generalize it, and incorporate it as part of their personality. Doubly severe. I don't know why that put that there. Doubly severe among combat sports athletes, though, because of the comorbid delusional self-belief required to succeed. I'm the greatest there ever was. I can't ever lose. I'm so incredibly special and unique that nobody could ever match me. That sounds like Gordon. It's the same with Gordon thinking. I didn't read that part. I just read it now. It's the same with Gordon thinking he somehow figured out staff better than actual doctors. He's in his Nazi arc. Every time weak men feel disenfranchised throughout history, they turn to some form of fascism. Working on yourself is a much better choice, but I suppose if that was an option these men were willing to take, we wouldn't be stuck in a constant loop of tyranny. So guys, be careful when you're following some of these guys. These dudes, I don't know, man. These guys are like man-children. We did talk about Moneyberg. It's all kind of a cesspool. You got some dudes becoming Nazis. You got dudes giving black belts to scammers. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say anymore. Let's see. Said never heard of this guy, but looking him up, he is a Grant Cardone business coach grifter. So that makes me skeptical of everything about him. Based upon that alone, I doubt the black belt was earned through skill rather than money and connections. So basically, he gets loads of fighters on his podcast and clearly buys fake views. I tried to listen to a few of them, and literally every single one, he makes up a story trying to sound tough about how he beat some people up or he was in jail for assaulting someone. A lot of the rich people I know act like that. He's the moron that interviewed Danaher and Gordon, and he was talking over them. It was impossible to listen to that podcast. He was able to talk over Danaher? Says Gordon was almost in tears at one point. You can tell how excruciating it was for him having to bear that disrespect. I didn't know. Was he on there? Let's see real fast. We ain't gonna watch that on my channel. Oh, he was on their show 13 days ago. No, wait, maybe that was a clip. 1 year ago. Okay. We're just going to zoom through real fast.
You want to overtake him.
I mean, it's me.
Compounded learning or have a massive advantage over one of the great.
Moneybird.com. I'm not even gonna go to that website. Look at Gordon. Why is Gordon in the middle? They got Gordon in the middle.
Gordon is in his mid-20s. Gordon already knows.
I was 19.
All right. We're not going to watch that, guys. If you want to watch Moneyberg, you guys go watch Moneyberg. Right now, you're watching Alec Berg. Someone says, is there any footage of him rolling? Of course not. I see some of him light rolling Gordon Ryan before. He just looked so uncoordinated. I know it's Gordon, but he was just letting him work, and even then it looked bad. Someone says, unfortunately, I've actually met this person, full-on scammer. That's literally his whole career is marketing and scamming, stealing other people's ideas and trying to get them arrested. Dude's just not a good person by any stretch. Well, that's why he works for the UFC. He's partnered up with the UFC. Yeah, knew Jake was a moron who didn't mind grifters, but old man Glover. Lyoto 2, always talking about honor and respect. Machida drinks his own pee. Touche, you got us there. Lyoto drinks his own pee. So why are we taking advice from Lyoto? Danny says, it's so funny. You can tell when people are on podcasts and are forced to. That's why a lot of podcasts kind of suck. Doesn't feel like genuine conversations. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It says, you have respect for Jake Shields. He's an awful human being. One thing I learned, respect them as athletes, separate it from them as human beings. There's so many amazing athletes in the world who are horrific to other people. I've made a great deal of friends over my years of practice, but I wouldn't choose them as idols. Yeah, don't choose them as idols. It says, don't know Jake. All I can say is years ago, I went to an MMA event and all the star athletes were friendly and open to fans except for Jake. Now he doesn't owe anyone any of his time, but he did stand out in that regard. It says, even Mikey hangs out with him, unfortunately. He must pay extremely well. If there's one thing we've learned about combat sports athletes in general, it's that there is nothing they won't advertise or slap their name on for some money. Crypto scams and supplements are the worst, but any mediocre product will do. I don't watch any other sports, so I don't know if this kind of hacky stuff is pervasive elsewhere, but it's best to not idolize any combat sports athletes because sooner or later they'll be advertising something that makes you stop and say, what the a common tactic for grifters is to interact with legitimate professionals to make themselves look professional. It does require a new scrutiny of those who they appear with, but sometimes people are used as props and they don't even know it. I mean, if you're an adult, you should do your research on who you're dealing with, who you're supporting, who you're sponsoring. And, if you feel like, man, this guy creepy, this person weird, say no. Pat Downey is confirmed for Team Misfits America, CGI 2. Shout out to Pat Downey. Pat Downey, he got his issues too, but, he was slapping people at that tournament. But I like Pat Downey because he was going after guys like Kyle Snyder and Carter Starachi. He's okay at jiu-jitsu. He got a good front headlock into the Darce or whatever, Anaconda. So we'll see how he does. Last thing, guys, I'm gonna dip and get some lunch. Let my voice rest. So we were talking about one championship. If you clicked on this video, we had Chowdhury. He was like the main figure. And this is from Takaru. He's one of the fighters. He says, well, first of all, please provide the K1 fighters who are risking their lives in battle with fight purses that show respect. Guaranteed medical expenses for injuries and treatment befitting professional athletes. Fighting 3 matches in one day in a tournament, their bodies battered and broken, yet they received a fight purse for just one match. Even if they suffer serious injuries requiring hospitalization or surgery, they have to cover medical expenses themselves. For matches outside their local area, they also have to pay for hotel stays before the fight out of their own pockets. The fighters are locked into contracts that automatically renew, and if they try to quit during the contract period, they face penalties amounting to several times the total fight purses they've earned. Even if they leave after their contract expires, for 6 months after the contract ends, they're stuck in an exclusive negotiation period. Unable to sign with any other organization, a period where they're essentially sidelined. Can an organization like that really point fingers at others, claiming they exploit fighters, have corrupt inner workings, or fail to reward their athletes? Of course, one has its own issues to some extent, but for me, it was only after joining one that I was finally treated properly. Oh, he's defending one championship. Wait a second. You're not supposed to do that. It was only after joining one that I was finally treated properly as a professional athlete, with fight purses worth risking my life for, and guarantees for medical expenses and injuries for matches. Oh, so he was defending one championship. Oh, he was speaking out against K1. Oh. It says, if you truly care about fighters and the industry, instead of posting critical tweets like this one, that seem just like publicity stunts on social media, why not directly voice opinions to one's management headquarters? So he's actually defending one championship. Is he the only person I heard defending one? It says, oh dear, when K1 is so cooked that one is becoming a haven for kickboxers. I guess the lesser of two evils, but what if one decides to completely give up the kickboxing scene like they did with MMA? Will they also get horribly mistreated and held hostage? This has partially happened already at heavyweight. One pivoted away from the big boys in their focus on Japan and Thailand. That's why Buchecha got out of there. Does one have any real competitors for the lighter divisions? They want Japan's money, so kickboxing isn't going anywhere. All right, so I was wrong. I thought they were bashing one championship. They were defending one championship. Let's see if we got any stories for you guys. That might be it, guys. My voice kind of going away. Yeah, I'm done. We talked enough today. About almost 2 hours, 30 minutes. Not bad. All right, guys, I'm going to dip. Yeah, we got nothing. Got a new video I'm working on. Seminar this weekend. If you guys are in New Jersey, Old Bridge, New Jersey, I have a seminar on the 13th, which is a Sunday. And that's it, man. Happy Magic Monday. Happy 4th of July. Hope you guys are healthy, safe. Take care of yourselves. If you guys want to sponsor the channel, Inverted Gear, BJJ Mental Models, you guys know those. We also got memberships now. We got whatever you guys want. And if you guys can't do none of that, you can't do any of that, listen, just tell people about the show. That will go a long ways. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll be back on for this week, Monday through Friday. And that's it, guys. I'm going to see you guys later. And I'm playing myself out with the Inverted Gear video. So, all right, guys. See you tomorrow, God willing. And bye.